This random guy who looks strangely familiar said that he's my father. My mom is interfering, and I think I know why. My parents are still married, by the way, so that's why it got me really freaked out. I didn't believe this guy at first when he said he might be my biological dad because he just randomly messaged me on Facebook, but he was telling me he knew my mom because they went to school together and even mentioned her high school.
Oh.
And then when I mentioned his name to my mom, she started crying, which is hella suspicious. She swore he's making it up because they only kissed once, but she begged me not to tell my dad. That got me suspicious. So I went and heard the guy out. He told me they met up once. Then a few months later, he found out she was married and pregnant, but she told him he wasn't the father because according to her, she already knew she was pregnant when she cheated on my dad, which odd time to start cheating.
Yeah.
After you know you're pregnant. But he says he was always suspicious and he decided to get a private investigator to find me once he knew I was a legal adult. 18 years I've been waiting. So my mom can't say anything or keep me from him. Then, just when he finally saw me and had seen all of our similarities, he knew he could be my dad. I didn't want to see it in the beginning, but yeah, there's a lot of similarities and I hate it. We went to a lab place to do a paternity test and I got the results a couple days ago. What do you think, John?
Sounds like he's the father.
And I'm his son. You have no idea how much that effed me up. I threw up and then I cried for like an hour. Then I gave the proof to my mom. And again, she puts on the show of her being in tears because she knows she's been caught. I told her to tell me everything, but I didn't say that I talked to him about it because I wanted to see if what she says lines up with her version of stuff. And looks like it does. She lied to them both. My dad doesn't know I'm not his, and the guy didn't find out about her being married until after she lied to him about my dad being the one who got her pregnant. Girl lying both ways.
Lies! The lie!
And she's being so effed up about it. When we talked, I gave her that line, either you tell him or I will. And she told me then, guess it's gonna have to be you because I'm not gonna break his heart.
Come on.
That's so manipulative. For the first time in my life, I called her an effing selfish bitch. Now it's on me, but it's hitting me now that I don't know if I can do it. The whole thing's kept me up for days. I haven't gone to visit my parents because I'm not sure if I could look at my dad's face with this lie going on. But it feels like once it's out, I'm gonna lose him. I haven't stopped crying since then, and I have this guy, my bio dad, telling me he's so sorry and let him know if I need something. It's too confusing. What the heck should I do? I want to know what you would do in this situation. Would you tell the dad, your fake dad? Would you keep it from him? Let me know what you do in the comments. But John, what would you do?
Tell the dad, but it's just one of those things that it's just like, can you possibly imagine?
Okay, but there is an update.
Okay.
I told my dad. Next morning after I made this post, I was done giving my mom a chance to do the right thing. If she wanted me to do it, well, I was gonna. And my dad was crushed. He didn't believe me until I showed him the DNA test that I took with my biological dad that proved I'm his son. There was yelling from my dad, my mom with her fake crocodile tears, trying to play it off that she didn't know my dad was the biological father. I told him everything though, that she even tried to shut me down, then left me to say something. My dad left the house and I gave him space for like 2 weeks, which is about as good as it could have gone, I guess. First time we talked, he says he's divorcing my mom, but he can't have anything to do with a kid that's not his.
How do you raise a kid?
And then just be like, nope, emotions off.
I don't know if I would be able to do that.
He said he's been played the fool all my life and he's not going to keep playing the fool, pretending to be a dad to some random kid. And that stung. I wanted to cry, but I didn't want to give up hope. I thought this just happened and he's still hurting. It's been a few months already though, and he still acts cold with me. Twice I reached out, told me I'm nothing to him anymore, so just leave it. Dude, bro, it's not his fault. It's
not his fault.
You did it. I didn't. You did it.
He got stuck with the kid for over 20 years and now he's free to do whatever he wants. The second time we talked was last week. Again, he told me to leave him alone because he's done. He's not my dad. He never was, and accept that. And you know what? I said, fine. Sorry to bother him. Don't ever come back, even if he changes his mind. And I hung up. My dad doesn't want anything to do with me. My mom is a cheating that started all this, so I'm done with her too. The only person who's been there for me is my biological dad and my mom's family. No one in my dad's family, not even my grandparents, will talk to me. It sounds like a show and sad, yeah, but I've learned to accept it. All this time, me and my bio dad have been getting to know each other. Every night for the last month, we have dinner together and talk about about life. He's been most supportive. He's paying for me to do some therapy.
Deserved.
Yeah, deserved. So I can talk about everything with someone. He's been a really good guy. I'm happy to be getting to know him. And at least not everything that came out of this was bad. Haven't worked up to calling him dad quite yet, but we're getting there. Holy moly. That was a doozy of the story.
Yep.
What do you think about like just what just happened? Because yes, OP told the truth to his dad, but like his whole family unit kind of fell apart. And what would you have done in this situation? Put your answers in the comments. But John, what do you think about OP's choice?
I mean, that is like if you had a crystal ball and you could see like both paths, having everyone in your family leave you, it's like I would guess that would eventually eat away at you. Honestly, the dad is the unexpected a-hole here.
I thought my name was Sam from my parents, and then I find out that my name is Bob.
There we go.
And then you're like, dude, you lied to me. I'm not gonna.
I didn't know.
I was friends with Sam, not Bob. Bro, I mean, like, yes, he's not your kid, but you have a relationship with him regardless.
Yeah, you spent 18 years also just like raising somebody. Like, how can you turn off a connection like that?
My psycho guidance counselor says I can't date my girlfriend because she's in a wheelchair, but I'm not backing down. There's a girl I'm friends with, Louise, who is in a wheelchair. We've been acquaintances since the start of high school, but recently we've become friends. Oh, things are rolling around nicely with this one. Today at lunch, she asked me if I wanted to go out next Sunday with her. In her words, like a date. Ooh. We met at a quiet coffee shop near her house. I was worried that I would get nervous and it would be awkward, but instead we spent 2 hours having a great time getting to know each other. Afterwards, we went to the park, sat on a bench. We watched the world go by while she held my hand, which was unexpected. That's kind of cute, dude.
Super cute.
We called it a day and it started to get dark, so I took her home. She gave me a tight hug and we said our goodbyes. I enjoyed spending time with her and I think she felt the same, but I'm not sure if I should ask her out so soon. Sounds like she wants you to ask her out, bro. Edit took everyone's advice and asked her on a second date, and she couldn't have been happier when she said yes.
Very adorable.
This is awesome. I love this story. I was called at a class today by my guidance counselor because she is concerned that I am breaking the law by having a relationship with a disabled girl because I am apparently abusing my position of power over her. That's ridiculous.
Stop it. You must not date this sweet girl. What is the deal?
I don't know. I could understand maybe if like he was dating a girl with a mental handicap.
This seems so mutual. This seems completely mutual. She initiated the date. She was like, hang out like a date. Then he was like, oh, let's keep this going.
It's not a power dynamic thing if they're like on the same level mentally.
It seems like everything is on the same page here.
Don't be weird, guidance counselor. So I was in the shower the other day and I noticed this weird looking mole on my left butt cheek. I start looking at that left butt cheek. I'm like, that's a mole that I've never seen before. I go on WebMD. I go down the gnarliest butt mole rabbit hole thinking I'm dead.
It's really bad.
I go get it checked out by a doctor who can't give me the time of day. Find out that I'm not going to die. It's just a regular mole. But I would love for an easier process.
Sam, I think there's something that could have literally saved your cheek.
Really? What is it?
It's ZocDoc, the sponsor of the show.
Gosh, golly darn.
ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors that are patient reviewed.
Take your insurance.
Are available when you need them.
And treat almost every condition under the sun.
So go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available in 24 hours.
That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP. ZocDoc.com/OKOP.
We are both 16. We have a few classes together. I'm not her teacher, so I think that means I'm not in a position of power. Yeah. I have helped her a few times with homework. Does that count?
Ooh.
No, it doesn't count.
Sweetie, can you help me with these times tables? I don't know, babe. What can you do for me?
OP says she's perfectly normal mentally. She just can't walk. So it's not like I'm taking advantage of her in any way. We've been on one date, had lunch together a few times. I can't see how this is inappropriate. Is my guidance teacher correct? Will I get in trouble because I'm dating someone who is not as able-bodied as I am? I don't want to get either of us in trouble. Any advice is appreciated. There's another update, but this is ridiculous.
Okay, here's what I think what's happening. I think the guidance counselor is trying not to be ableist, and by attempting to do so is being ableist.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you can't date her because she's in a wheelchair. That's basically what she's saying.
There's an update. Since there were so many of you commenting and giving me great advice on my post here and in the private messages, I think you deserve an update.
Ooh.
Thanks, OP.
Thank you.
My parents, my friend, I'll call her Louise, and I met with the head teacher and the guidance teacher first thing in the morning. The head teacher, who was out of the loop in the situation, asked me about my relationship with Louise. I answered honestly that she asked me out and that we'd been on 2 dates together and we'd occasionally have lunch together. She said that was fine and sent me off to class. She then asked Louise if I had made her uncomfortable, had hurt her, or tried to force her to do certain things. She replied that I was caring and made her feel special, and that if she was suggesting that I had taken advantage of her, she off. Let's go, Louise. And then she quickly left on the verge of tears. My parents then asked the guidance teacher what exactly she meant by me abusing my position of power. And it became apparent to my mom that she had no idea what she was talking about. She thought because she had seen me helping Louise in the library with things, and because I occasionally pushed her around, that I was some sort of helper carer for her and not her classmate and date. After some back and forth between the 4 of them, according to another friend who walked by the office, some of it was quite heated. It was agreed that apologies would be made to both of us. The guidance teacher would learn to do her job like she should be able to, and the matter would be dropped in return for not making this public and causing the school yet more embarrassment.
Wow.
Bro, so embarrassing for the school. Like, how uneducated do you have to be?
It's just like, yeah.
Bad news, the guidance teacher didn't actually understand what the phrase abusive position of power actually meant. Good news, it turns out you were all correct. I'm not in any legal trouble. Happy news, I had my first kiss and Louise called me her boyfriend. So at least some good came out of it.
My man.
Let's go, OP. And let's go, Louise. Also great for Louise, like actually standing up for herself too.
This is an adorable story, great relationship. The only wrench that's thrown in here is this stupid guidance counselor.
Yeah, just let these people be in love.
My God, like this is the cutest thing ever.
My racist neighbor called the cops on me just because I let my dog out. I have a reverse Uno card for you, Karen.
I'm a longtime lurker. It's my first time posting. So recently, a couple weeks back, a new family moved into the house across from mine. We've never met or spoken. I've only occasionally seen them when they're working on their lawn. So the situation happened this morning.
What's the sitch? We got a Karen on the loose.
When I opened my door to get my Amazon package, my dog squeezed through the little opening and ran straight to my neighbor's lawn.
I actually think he loves it, and that's why he's running over to it.
Oh, he's like, wow, this is so much better.
Yeah, I love
than
rolling
our
around,
lawn.
and it's like on clouds.
I later found out my dog did this because she saw my neighbor's dog. I immediately put my package inside my house and ran across the street barefoot to my neighbor's lawn. I literally had just gotten out of bed prior to this, and I hadn't even brushed my teeth when I noticed my dog bolt. By the time I reached my dog, my neighbor ran out of her house, cursing every word she knew at me. Which, to be unfair, I understand, as it was my dog in her lawn. But then she accused me of doing this multiple times, which confused me. I'm a college student. My morning starts at 3 p.m. because I take late classes.
3 p.m.?
That's a little late, OP. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had never seen her face to face and had only caught glimpses of her. She screamed at me using a colorful variety of words before she inevitably threatens to call the police on me. I tried to explain that I didn't even mean to open the door and my dog ran, but I just couldn't get a word in. I tell my mom what happened, and she tells me how she believes she's purposely targeting us as we're the only non-white family in the neighborhood.
Oh.
Here we go.
Racist
Here we
Karen.
go.
It all
Back
comes
again.
out.
The reason why we believe this is because the situation has never happened before, and my dog likes to chase bunnies and run after them, but she's never ran into anyone's lawn, especially this neighbor's lawn, until now. She blatantly lied and said she's specifically seen me multiple times when I don't even leave my room until it's dark out. My mom also mentioned she caught our neighbor glare at my mom and dad whenever they're out in their front lawn. Anyways, after a few minutes of talking to my mom, a policeman showed up to my house. I explained the situation exactly as it happened, and he was very understanding. I'm sure my morning breath told him that I wasn't looking to walk my dog, and the situation was just an accident. He told me accidents happen, but that doesn't mean that we deserve being berated by our neighbor, especially if this was just the first time. He even encouraged us to file a harassment complaint if it were to occur again.
Reverse Uno.
Haha! This is the part where I might be the a-hole. I mentioned to him the things that my mom mentioned and how she lied and cursed at
at me. Also pointing out the fact that we're the only non-white family in the neighborhood and how she's seemingly kind to everyone except my family. He also told me to keep a lookout for anything racially based that she does or says and to call the cops if it were to happen again, as any race-related issue happening would be taken very seriously. He assured us he was going to have a talk with her and then he left. Now Reddit, am I the a-hole for making my neighbor seem like a racist? There is an edit.
Seem like a racist?
See?
Oh, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay gang, in the comments, you know the drill. What are you thinking right now? Is Opie the a-hole here?
Not the a-hole. Karen sounds crazy.
Edit, she called the cops, I guess, again. And edit number 2, thank you to all who took the time to read and give me your comments. I believe my neighbor might be racist because she only ever seems to have a problem with my family. We get kids literally roaming around playing extremely loud music and screaming in the middle of the night, but she doesn't seem to have an issue with them. But one time I let my dog slip, she actually calls the cops without discussing with us. Yeah, that is just like
That's
a
such an
dog runs into your
escalation.
lane and you just call the cops immediately. I'd also like to mention that my house does have security cameras all over our front and backyard. If anything were to happen, we definitely have her on tape. We do leash our dog, but my parents have been trying to train her without a leash in our backyard, hence the incidents where she's chasing bunnies, but she doesn't harm them in any way. I've dealt with racism myself growing up, so I can pick up on some clues when a person is being discriminatory. I don't plan on calling the cops back on her unless I absolutely have to, but given today's situation where racism runs rampant, I just wanted to know if my neighbor was one as well. Regardless, I'm avoiding her at all costs. Smiley face.
As you should.
As you should. Yeah, I mean, let us know what you would have done in this situation. Do you think there was anything to be done differently?
I don't think so. I mean, it just sounds like a freaking crazy neighbor. I think it's still like we still don't know if it's racially motivated, but they're like the only like people of color in the neighborhood, and this person is only targeting them. Signs would point to that, but definitely like if she's harassing you, regardless of what it is, like you should 100% clap back and make sure that stops happening because what she's doing is ridiculous.
If a dog ran up into my lawn, I would start petting it. What kind of a-hole are you where you're like, oh, here's this cute dog that loves to like run around and chase bunnies and stuff, and it's like,
Death.
How dare you put your paws on my land?
Yeah, ridiculous. Karen, get a freaking life.
Get a life, Karen. Case closed. My psycho nephew destroyed my son's PS5, and I'm going to make sure he regrets he made it happen.
Dude, you can't be mad at the nephew. He was just having a gamer moment.
My sister and I have always had a strained relationship. I usually let things go and just try to keep the peace. We both have sons who are around the same age. My nephew is 13 and my son just turned 11. For my son's birthday, I bought him the brand new gaming system he has been wanting.
Give him that game PS5 thing.
The Play GameCube Station Center
Box.
box. I had purchased it for Christmas and I had it ready and wrapped under the tree. Yesterday, my sister's family came to visit and my son asked me if they could go play video games. I said yes, and I reminded them to be careful. About 30 minutes later, my son comes running to me crying. I asked him what was wrong and he led me to the front hall. When we get to the stairs, I see the new system smashed on the floor.
No.
Someone had thrown it from the upstairs and now it was smashed into pieces.
That's a huge gamer moment.
I asked my son what happened and he sobbed and pointed at his cousin. He did it. I asked my nephew if he did this and he just started to laugh.
Of course I did it. I destroyed it and loved it.
He said that it was a stupid baby toy and that he saw people break them online.
He knows content. He has an eye. He has the eye.
My sister came in and I told her what had happened. I explained that this was an expensive system and her son needs to be disciplined for what he did. I told her I wanted her to pay for what her son broke. She laughed too. She says that I shouldn't have let them play unsupervised, that it was my fault and I am a bad parent.
How did she reverse Uno that shit?
They're Olympic level leapers in logic. She said my son will get over it and that it's not that important. He only spent $700 on the secondhand
That's a
market.
lot of money to just destroy.
Seeing my son sitting on the ground next to his broken system trying to put the pieces back together tore my heart out. I walked over to the Christmas tree and grabbed the system item that was meant for my nephew. I pulled off the gift wrap and I gave it to my son and told him to go upstairs and set it up.
At least he had a second one, I guess.
My sister asked me why I was making such a big deal about it when I already had another one. I then laughed at her. I told her that this was her son's Christmas gift. That since it wasn't important and it was just a stupid baby toy, that obviously he won't miss it.
Dang, reverse Uno'd.
I then told them to leave. My nephew realized what happened and he began to cry that my son had stolen his system. It's important now? Oh, it's
Yeah.
worth crying over?
It's not a little kid toy?
My sister was livid and told me that I will never see them again. I just said, okay, and slammed the door. Other family members have now been calling me nonstop, calling me the a-hole, and saying that I've ruined my nephew's Christmas.
How?
I don't think so. My nephew is 13. He's not a stupid kid, and he knew what he was doing. I don't care that it was over jealousy. He's old enough to know better. My sister was not going to make the situation right, so I had to do what I had to do. They all think I should buy another new system for my nephew, but I don't have that kind of money. I'm starting to feel bad about this, and I'm wondering, am I the a-hole?
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the drill. We want to know what you're thinking. Was the kid the a-hole? Was the nephew the a-hole? What would you do if you were OP and trying to resolve this scenario?
Just let the nephew cry, bro.
Let him cry.
He does not deserve another PS5. I'm not giving you anything else.
Nope.
Get out of here. And hey, when you're ready to apologize for being a bag, I'm here.
Was OP the a-hole?
No way. No. No. If anything, OP is the angel for not only
Yeah.
buying his own kid a present, but buying a present for this vicious nephew.
Come on.
All right, but let us know what you think.